Many fans are calling for a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis, and Terence has responded to Jaron's call-out. While many fans want to see this fight, Terence is well aware of the fact that he would want to fulfill his contract with a rematch against Errol Spence first if Spence wants one.
Interested in moving up in weight for the rematch, or does it have to be at 47?
It definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, you know, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo. So 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
Spence is definitely wanting a rematch soon too.
Hell yeah, we gotta do it again. That would be a lot better. It's gonna be a lot closer. It's probably gonna be in December, except for the end of the year. So hell yeah, we gotta do it again.
Jaron Ennis doesn't understand why they would want to bother with a rematch. Jaron stated, "Bud did his thing. Spence was just off, flat. He wasn't moving his head. He was getting hit with a lot of shots. Bud did his thing. Spence was just off, slow. Timing was bad. It ain't no point. It was one-sided." Stephen A. Smith doesn't want them to bother with a rematch just yet, and he pleaded with them to wait a while.
A matter of fact, let me make a plea over the international digital airwaves of YouTube. Let me make a plea right now to Terence Crawford. I understand you just beat him. You beat him thoroughly. You're the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF titles, but you hugged him after the fight for a reason. I am making a plea to Terence Crawford, even if you elect to give Errol Spence Jr. a rematch. Please do not do this for at least a year. Please don't do that.
Well, Jaron actually had a message for Terence and Spence. Jaron stated, "We have to wait for Errol Spence and Bud to fight, and you know, I want the winner of that fight. Spence Crawford is a great fight, a 50-50 fight. May the best man win." And Jaron Boots Ennis wants the winner of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Let's make it happen. Terence and Spence both answered what they thought about fighting Jaron Ennis at one point, though. Spence stated, "Yeah, he's nice as hell, but I'm at the point in my career, if the money's right, I'll fight anybody, so I ain't tripping." Terence, on the other hand, stated, "I always said Boots was a great talent. I always told everybody that I supported him. I've been supporting him since he was in the amateurs, when he was fighting Gary Russell. I always supported him because they always said he reminded them so much of me. But seeing him, I kind of see myself in him, and yes, he deserves a title shot. He deserves it all. But his time will come. But right now, business is business." Kenny Porter doesn't think that a fight between Jaron and Terence would be very realistic. Kenny stated, "I believe a guy like Jaron Ennis would provide a big challenge for him, absolutely, no doubt. I just think about the risk and reward with Boots. The risk is greater than the reward for Bud, and now Bud should be rewarded in everything he does. Boots is a very, very talented guy, a guy that has a lineage in boxing. His dad and his brothers were professional boxers. He's got a family of fighters behind him. Everyone is a piece in that puzzle that makes Jaron Ennis. Terence is 36 now. He's not 26. So by him getting to this pinnacle late in his career, he's got to make decisions that are based on what's good for Terence and are advantages for Terence, not disadvantages in age or disadvantages in size. Jaron Boots Ennis is definitely an opponent that would give him a run and would be in a hell of a fight with Terence Crawford. Tim Bradley doesn't think that Ennis is ready for a fight with Terence Crawford. Tim stated, "You kidding me right now? I respect Ennis. Listen, I respect Ennis. I love his pops. His pops is cool. His whole crew is tight. But who the hell has Boots fought? You can be riding that wave. You've been getting these knockouts for all these other different guys, but you've never been in the ring with an animal like Crawford. And when you get in there and you get hit upside your head and you see you can't do the stuff that you usually do against the guys you fought at the lower level, bro, I would hate for him to get into that type of fight with Crawford. I would hate for him to get in this fight and look average." Stephen Edwards actually thinks that Jaron Ennis is ready for Terence Crawford. Edwards stated, "Being ready doesn't always mean you're gonna win, but it does mean that you're ready for your opportunity. I think Boots deserves his opportunity. Somebody had to give Crawford an opportunity. Somebody had to give Errol an opportunity. I think he deserves an opportunity. But this notion that he ain't ready is ridiculous. He's 26. Crawford and Errol were about 26, 27 when they got their title shots, and Boots had way more fights than they had when they got their title shots. So, of course, it's right. And I'm not saying he can beat Terence. What Terence did the other night was just remarkable. But I think Boots deserves and has earned his title shot, whether it be with any of those guys or anybody else. But he deserves a shot. Steven Espinoza seems to think this would be a great fight as well. Espinoza stated, "At the same time, Crawford is the undisputed champion, and there are mandatories. The IBF has a mandatory coming up, Jaron Boots Ennis. There are others that have mandatories coming up. I love the Boots fight. I think it's the best fight that can be made in the welterweight division. That's a toss-up. You put Thurman, Boots, and Crawford in the mix. Any two of those three fights is a top-tier fight." Kell Brook seems to think that Jaron Ennis might be the one to take Terence down. Kell stated, "He's looking good, so good that he could be the one to succeed Spence and Crawford. He has great ability, punching power, and like these guys, massive boxing IQ. I put him up there in the elite, among the best in the world. We don't know for certain how good he can be until he gets in there with someone better or equal to himself, and we see how he responds, how he takes a shot and deals with pressure on a big stage. That's when we know when a fighter has the real X factor, when they can tie in all those qualities with the ability to do it on that highest level. There's definitely been enough build-up drama between the two fighters to make it an exciting one."
What we know?
I know everything.
I don't know nothing. I'm trying to find out what I know. Enlighten me.
What you mean enlighten me? You for Devanese and you could for me.
You jumped up out of my sanction body to go fight in the IBF. So what I know?
What you mean?
What you mean? What I mean? Would you rank that in the WBA or not?
Yo, it don't even matter. Yo,
all right, catch up, little homie. Catch up, then. If it don't matter, catch up.
Yo, he picked Evanesian.
Catch up.
Evanesian was way under.
You just said it don't matter. Catch up. I'm talking about before that.
He not about it. We already know he not about what he's talking about.
I'm not about what? I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
You said I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
Man, go to sleep. Go to sleep. You dreaming, man. You talking in your dreams,
don't
man.
Want to fight. Yo, we asked for that fight plenty of times, yo.
When?
Plenty of times.
What's plenty? When?
Man,
you fronting.
Originally, Crawford mentioned that he was more interested in another fight. Crawford stated, "That fight with Ennis can happen, cause we're at the same weight class, but you know, at this point in time, I'm looking for bigger and better opportunities, like Charlo." Fans believed that Ennis and Terence had a lot of similarities, but Jaron disagrees with them. Jaron stated, "We don't fight anything alike. Bud is good, but we're totally different. We don't have a similar style. I'm smoother and slicker. My shots are a little tighter than his and things like that. He's a great fighter, but I feel like I'm better all the way around." Andre Ward doesn't think that we'll get to see too many more fights from Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, though. Andre stated, "When you fight a fight of this magnitude, it's a different level of focus and a different level of lock-in. It drains you, and you have to call it back up and fight the fight. Then you got to sit around after you spent 2 or 3 months in camp and you fought a tough fight. You're like, I gotta go do it again." You start to have different thoughts. The winner of these two fights, or the fights, depending on how long it goes, what are they going to do? Are they going to go 154 and start all over? They might. That's hard for me to see. I can see them doing a farewell fight. If Bud is successful and wins 2 fights or a trilogy, I can see him doing a farewell in Nebraska. Terence Crawford finally gave a definitive answer on what he thinks about a fight with Jaron Ennis, though. Crawford stated, "Listen, right now in my career, a lot of people are like, Boots this, Boots that, Boots this, you know? Fighting Jaron Boots Ennis is a lose-lose situation. If I win, they're gonna say, oh, well, he was young, he wasn't ready. Me fighting Boots would be like, okay, well, you beat Boots. It's not a mega fight. I'm looking for big challenges. I'm trying to go up in weight and fight Jermell Charlo because that's something history in the making. It's a lot at stake. You know, there's nothing really at stake with me fighting Boots." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.